Hello again, and welcome to Grey's Anatomy Post-Op, the place where not only do we embrace all of our Grey's Anatomy feels, we celebrate them. I'm your host, Gordon James, and on today's episode, we have a couple, a dynamic duo, if you will, who have brought you so many amazing moments, from April's flash mob marriage proposal to the epic musical episode. Please welcome former co-showrunners and executive producers, Joan and Tony Phelan. Hello, hey. Dynamic duo.
Hi.
Do you write out loud with each other and then?
Let me tell you how we
does that
write.
Work? Yeah, tell us that.
So we're married, right? And we work together, and then we live together, but we drive into work separately because it's the only time we are not together, and we need it.
And how did you get involved with Shondaland? How'd you meet Shonda?
You know, writers, you go through this thing called staffing season where all the shows are, especially the new shows, are looking for writers. And we had 3 choices of shows to go on: the new Law & Order, or we could go on this show that was called Medium about a girl who talked to the dead, or we could go on this medical thing.
We were like, this Law & Order thing is a sure bet. We gotta go on this Law & Order.
Because that's gonna be on forever.
And I was in a Starbucks one day, and I overheard these people in line behind me going, "Have you seen that new show called Grey's Anatomy?" And I was like, oh, we made the wrong decision. And so we called up Shonda, and we were like, can we have that job we turned down? So Shonda was nice enough to hire us for season 2, and we started.
You moved on from there to create epic episodes, including the musical.
You see the smile that's on my mouth. It's hiding the words that don't come out. And all of our friends who think that I'm blessed, they don't know my head is a mess.
How did that come about?
That actually came out because we both love musicals.
Shonda loved musicals, and we were always singing show tunes in the writer's room. We have these iconic songs, and we had, who did we have? We had Chandra.
Hey, just get over yourself.
Kevin McKidd.
I must be running on sunshine.
Sada.
Since you came around, no, I just can't slow down, no, I wanna see you walking my way.
All right.
People really brought it.
So was it more difficult for you writing a musical episode?
Well, Shonda wrote the musical episode, but the funny thing is that she went to the network and she said, okay, we're gonna do a musical episode. And the network was like, no.
We had to convince them
Yeah.
that it was gonna be awesome. So we, on a Saturday, set up like a coffee house.
On a soundstage.
On a soundstage with couches and chairs and
Mimosas.
and invited a lot of ABC executives and had Kevin McKidd bring his guitar, and Chandra sang some songs and Sada sang some songs.
And Shonda then narrated the story.
And you could just see as these people are drinking their mimosas and sitting in their couch, they were sold, like within 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, well it's true that I was made for you.
We prep a regular show over about 8 days. This we prepped for about 3 months. We essentially cut an album. And then what happened on the day of shooting is the actors had earbuds in their ear of themselves singing that they would then sing along to. They're also acting and they're doing medical stuff. So to choreograph all of that, and then the other thing, you had Callie on the gurney, but then you had her imaginary self moving around as well, ducking down, running under the camera, then popping up again.
I can feel in everything you do, hear everything you say, even when you're miles away.
So speaking of musical moments, tell me about April's flash mob proposal.
When I wake up,
Sir, no, you probably don't want to get off of that. If you
the man who thinks I'm next to you.
We got Tice DiOrio from So You Think You Can Dance, who's one of the choreographers, to come in and choreograph it.
We also had paramedic Nicole, who was Matthew's partner, and she, the actress, was a dancer. So we just sort of, you know, look around at what talent you have and say, all right, let's
just snatch it.
Yeah.
Just snatch it.
How can we use that?
They think it's going to be hidden, but it gets revealed.
Yep. And we were like, okay, well, we got to find a way to put that in the show.
So, Joan, what are some of the favorite episodes that you've written?
My favorite episode was Ellis's lucid day.
I raised you to be an extraordinary human being. So imagine my disappointment when I wake up after 5 years and discover that you're no more than ordinary.
Shonda was like, Ellis has to be cruel to Meredith and tell her she's ordinary. And it just was Kate Burton and Ellen, and it was just a beautiful episode.
And Tony, yours?
I loved the episode where we went to Iraq with Owen. It was an episode that was about assisted suicide. And it was really powerful. We shot it up in the desert. Everybody had goggles on. There was a windstorm. We were blowing up stuff. And we found a way to weave that into a flashback episode where we see Owen in Iraq. He goes out on patrol with this guy who gets into a situation where Owen needs to end this guy's life.
You gotta do it. I can't make you do it. Okay. Please, it hurts. It hurts. It's okay. It's okay.
And that's one of the great things about Grey's Anatomy is it's elastic enough that you can do all sorts of stuff and still have it feel like the show.
So your last day on set mirrored the same last day as Sandra Oh's. What was that like? Was everybody just a boohoo mess?
We were all a wreck. So we were on set for Sandra's last scene, and she's crying, we're crying. She's up in the gallery watching Kevin perform surgery. And he looks up and she's there, and then he does some more surgery, and he looks up and she's gone. She had to duck down so that when he looked up, she wasn't there. So Sandra's last moment on the show was literally her going like, and another take, because Tony's screaming like, we can still see you, Sandra, duck more. It was actually good because it was funny, and we didn't, you know, get too sad.
It was nice for the three of us to kind of leave the show at the same time. And I got to shoot Sandra and Ellen dancing it out for the last time together.
When to let go.
You love this song.
Where does the good go? Where does the good go?
Which is so much fun.
Which is so much fun.
Oh my
and
gosh.
her driving away in the cab, and you know, just like great stuff that really felt like it was kind of capping off our time on the show.
How did you feel about being part of a show that was now we're going into our 300th episode?
And I remember we were sitting in the writer's room one day, and Shonda said, you know, we were like, how long is this thing gonna run? And Shonda said, can you imagine if it ran like 7 years? And we laughed like, oh my God, wouldn't that be amazing and incredible, and it's not gonna happen. And look at it now.
Tony and Joan, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to check out the Love Grey's Hub on abc.com for everything Grey's Anatomy. I'll see you next Wednesday here on abc.com with a brand new installment of Grey's Anatomy Post-Op. Until then, you know I got you. Here's an exclusive sneak peek at tomorrow's brand new episode of Grey's Anatomy, premiering at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
I just want to see my kid. I'll take oral antibiotics. It's just a low-grade fever.
No, unfortunately, it's more than that. Your white count is elevated. There's some erythema. We're gonna need to do 3 days IV of cefazolin.
3 days?
I'm sorry.
Ugh. Have you heard from Nathan?
No, have you?
No. For what it's worth, I told him you were the real deal. I sent him to you.
And I sent him to you. Pretty firmly.
I think we broke his brain.
Catch every season of Grey's Anatomy, currently available on iTunes.